Okay, I've got quite a bit to get through tonight, so I just want to acknowledge that there are people from all different age groups on the call tonight and all different levels in the business. The first thing I want you to do is not panic. This is the company's tried and proven system. I'm going to be supplying every single document or help that I mention to you. You will all be able to get them wherever you are. And the other thing is, it may sound a lot, but the whole thing with this system is once you're organised, it's just people do it in snatches of time. So just bear with me. So customer caring, I like to call it customer caring because I think it's a bit more personal, a bit warm, and we are trying to make friends with people. It comes in a lot of different forms, but I think it was Eric Worre who actually said, it's not what works, it's actually what duplicates. And I know as long as I share a few documents, the company system is so duplicatable and it's so easy, and I'm going to prove to you how powerful it is. Now, I know there are some people who will actually say to me, I don't do any customer care. It blows me away, and we'll go through a little bit of that in a minute. Okay, in a very, very early presentation Tamara did, probably about 15 years ago, she asked a question of the audience, and it was, what exercise is the best thing you can do? And we were all saying swimming, walking, all this. And she said, the answer was the one you will do. Do you remember that, Tamara? I'm sure you do. So it's the same with customer care or customer caring. The one you will do is fantastic. And even if you will only do some, it's better than none. But hopefully you're all perfect students and you're on this call because you really want to do the right thing, so you'll do it perfectly. Okay. Guess what though? The customer care, it's not about us. It's about what we duplicate and whoever we sponsor so they can copy us, and it's about the customer. So, you know, we can put all our fears and haven't got enough time or don't like doing it aside. It's not about us. Okay, I'm going to go through, as I said, the customer care system the company's got, and I've got a few tweaks. And those tweaks are really important because they lead to education for your customer, retention, fantastic referrals, raving fan customers, and then usually, not usually, but quite often, a new franchisee for you. Okay. I'll also be asking at the end a few people to share some added value things that they do in their customer care. So the one thing I do need to mention to is, Tamara said, in the last little while, the company has introduced a customer portal where a customer can be a little bit autonomous and self-directed, and they go in and change their credit details and all sorts of things. And it is a brilliant thing. I'm a bit of a control freak with my customer care, and I'm just glad at least that the company or the portal actually sends you an email to say a change has been made. So that's fantastic. And just so you know where it is, it's customers.juiceplus.com. You set up an account and you've got your password. So most of you have got your own preferred customer order. So go and practice so you know what your customers are going to look at. So before we start, I want to talk about fear. Who fears customer care? A lot of people do. I'm going to explain to you what happens. The reason why I don't fear, and a lot of people don't fear customer care, is because you know how we leaders, we try and encourage you to have 35 to 40 customers, to have a beautiful qualified business on your own customer merits, not with any help from your downline. It's such a safe place to be, guys. Well, that's what happens. When you've got enough, it's not the end of the world. It's devastating when you get a cancellation, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to be, oh my God, I might not qualify now. So where am I up to? Okay, so it's really safety in numbers. And also, when you do good customer care and you get a cancellation, and I'll be talking you through a cancellation call at the end, which I have been able to reinstate so many customers and even get franchisees. So I'll be sharing that with you. But make sure that you have those customers, because it makes a big difference to your customer care. Okay. Before I take you through the system, I want to, without pointing the finger, talk about a responsibility we all have. Now, we all have a responsibility to our wonderful company and also to all of our colleagues, whether they're here in New South Wales, wherever, because the better customer care we do, what we're trying to do with customer care is when you approach a prospect, you're going to get more of, oh yeah, I've heard that product is wonderful, rather than, oh, I tried that for a while, it didn't work, and they kept sending me product and they kept debiting my credit card. It's not very nice, and that's usually because someone hasn't done their customer care. Now, we all know that every now and then customers tell porcupines, but the majority of them really haven't been looked after. Okay, company system. Remember, all of you, don't panic because you are getting the documents. The tools that you need. This is basic, but this is what you need. You need a phone. You need an email address. You need access to your virtual office. Now, old-fashioned, you might think this is, but you need some photocopied mail-outs. These are some of the tweaks that I do that have really, really added value and to retention for me, for my customers. But you not only want those photocopy things, the ability to have them on your computer to photocopy them, you want them all ready to go. Many of you on the call do your Juice Plus and indeed your customer care in snatches of time, correct? Okay, so if you've got 10 minutes to do a few customer care calls and maybe prepare something, you want to have it ready. So I use a lever arch file and I have 6 to 10 copies of any of the things that I personally use. So that's a bit of organisation for you. I then have, and I was very lucky today, I've got a new customer. We have customer profile sheets, which I'll be supplying you with. You need some sleeves and another lever arch file. And it sounds old school, but it works, guys. And look, I know many of you use texting and Messenger and social media groups. They're fantastic. If they're working, do it. But the way that the company has set this up and the way I've tweaked it, you can never, ever get as much education, which leads to retention. I'm going to keep saying it, which leads to referrals, which leads to raving paying customers, which can get you a franchisee. Now, so if you want to keep customers and set an example to whoever you're going to sponsor, really try and learn this system. It's actually very simple once you know it. It just happens. And you'll have I've done a document so you understand the company system, so you just step by step. Okay. This, and really it is a system of using your voice on a phone call. Even our founder and owner, Jay Martin, he said many years ago, you will never ever be face-to-face, belly-to-belly. And look, I totally agree. Messenger and messages and SMSs, everything really is great, but just remember this. So the basic overview of the company system is that you've sent the order in, you've done it online, your order is totally taken care of by the company. Behind the scenes, your customer is getting 7 friendly, encouraging, educational emails behind the scenes, doing your work for you. It's fantastic. And if you're not familiar with those, I suggest you go to your virtual office down the bottom left-hand corner where it says My Customers, and I think it's under something Manage My Customers or something like that. You'll find them, and it's a really good idea to print it out so you know if your customer actually starts to chat about it. The point of customer care is to be chatty. Okay, now, for the next 280 days, that equates to the 3rd box that has been delivered. You will be receiving in your email box 6 email tracking alerts. And they're telling you to do calls 1 through 6. Okay, they not only tell you to do them, they tell you what to say, they give you a bit of verbiage, they're brilliant. Okay, is everyone getting those? Okay, so here's a big tip. If you're all busy people, like I do my customer care probably twice a week, When I get that email, so it doesn't get lost, I drag it over to a custom care folder. Brilliant. And as I do the task, I just click it off. So that's where I've got there. The only way, after that third box is delivered, 280 days, the only way you can find out what's happening to your customer's next box or whatever is either on your email alerts, customer alerts, one of the boxes on the virtual office, or by ordering a preferred customer genealogy, which they're a really good thing to have a look at occasionally and understand the coding and what it means. They're really, really good. Okay, so let's start. The order's placed. The first step, fill out your customer profile form, place in the sleeve and pop in the customer caring file. Now, something I do before I actually file that away, see, sometimes, for example, the lady I got as a customer today, she just took my excitement and passion for it. She hasn't really had any education or information. And that, to me, is an absolute no-no. So straight away I said, I will be sending you some information so you really understand why you're on Juice Plus and why it's not an overnight thing, etc., etc. So before I file the customer profile, I've got the manila envelope out and I start filling it out. And then, of course, whatever I'm sending her, or indeed if I just send some links on my phone or whatever, I keep all those in notes. I write it down on the customer profile form. There's nothing better than the next time you speak to a customer and you're able to say, how did little Johnny go in his running race? It's just so friendly and building relationships. So we've supplied that. Now look, each and every call, it's a great time to invite to events, to ask for referrals and to generally build the friendship. Also, just remember your customer will be receiving those encouraging emails behind the scene. Your first mail out is as soon as that order's placed and you've done your customer profile, this is what I send out. And you might think it's old hat, but I want you to think, how many people get letters these days? Not many, unless it's advertising or bills. So for me personally, it might be old school, but if there's something I want to read, I put it on the ottoman and it stays there until I read it. If I was going to send some of the things in the company system by email, one, the email might not even be open. The attachment certainly wouldn't. The email can even be flicked. So I just sort of think I've got more chance of doing it this way. Okay. Does everyone know how to do a letter and post it and put a stamp? do many these days. Okay, so I post a welcome letter. Remember, I'm going to supply this. A how to take Juice Plus, a fabulous little document by Dr. Mitra Ray, Wind, Fluff and Gas, actually about detoxing. I then send them a little water document and a document that I've done, and it's really one about the real benefits of Juice Plus, which is what's happening down to cellular level versus the bonuses about all the things. And if your customer will actually read that and take it in, and even if you comment on it, they will understand. And I will quite often use the expression, it's not actually meant to be a feel-good product, but most people talk about their bonuses, etc. So you've posted that out. Okay. Call number one, you've received the alert, you've dragged it into your customer care folder. You sit down to do in snatches of time some customer care. Call one, you need to do it 10 days. Hopefully they've received it by then. Sometimes it will take a bit longer because we've got lots of orders coming in. You're really just making sure the customer's received it, encouraging to get in the habit of taking and drinking a lot of water, etc. If they haven't received it, apologise profusely, and you say you'll ring your head office and get a track and trace and get right back to them. And it's usually sitting in the post office or going to be there the next day. Okay, now, when you actually get this customer procedure thing that I'm talking from, you'll notice that call 2 is day 60. So I want to talk to you about an optional thing at day 30. And a lot of people, I know Bronnie does this, she's forever babying her customers with SMSs to keep them in the habit. But I try and diarise, because it's not an alert, a call at day 30, because otherwise you're going from day 10 when they've just received it to day 60 when they could have had a massive detox, anything could have happened. and you've got less chance of losing them if you contact them at day 30. So then at day 60, you'll get an email alert saying to do call to, and it'll tell you why and what to do and what to say. Now, this is, again, making sure they're taking it correctly, the water. I don't post a lot out, guys. It might sound like this is going to be a big mail out thing. I mail out their welcome pack, and then I mail out these two things. They are priceless. One of them is the current therapeutic research. It's just a little overview. It's a bit of a table. And the other one is the analogy. Now, I think the CTR report is the most powerful thing you can send someone, apart from the real benefits document. The other thing is, and I want to share this one with you, you won't be able to see it, but basically the CTR report is showing that after 28 days only, the antioxidants, the goodies, went way up. The free radicals, lipid peroxides, the baddies, went way down. In some cases, undetectable. So even in your jargon, if you can talk that, but when they see this that I send them, you won't be able to see that. But I've used a green pen, black printing's fine. If you want someone to read something, do it in a blue or a green or something, so it's a little bit personal and grabs their attention. I've circled the antioxidants and put goodies. I've circled the free radicals and put baddies, and I've done a few of my typical exclamation marks. And up the top, it says, and this is my spiel, they're getting referrals, and I write this on a lot of documents, and I say it verbally. To keep Juice Plus down at its already wonderfully affordable price, we never ever advertise, so I really need your help. If you rave to anyone about Juice Plus, please allow me to call them. I'd love their information so I can ring them and offer them strictly free obligation info. Did you notice that I didn't say ask them to call me? Because guess what? They won't call you. It's like when you're talking to someone, a stranger at a barbecue or in a shop like I did today, you've got to try and get their details, okay? So that's for referrals. That is a brilliant thing. The other one, the analogy, it's an analogy between a neglected houseplant and Juice Plus, and it's why Juice Plus comes in a 4-month supply, which a lot of people scratch their heads and think, why can't I buy 1 month or 2 months? So basically it's saying you water a plant, it's not going to be brilliant overnight, it takes time, the same as Juice Plus. So that's to send out at day 60. It's also, this is a brilliant call then. Just say it's a lady, Jenny Jones, and she's been raving and her husband says, well, I'm going to start taking it too. And it happens. This is a good time to chat and see if others are pinching their capsules, because then you're going to say, look, you're not getting any more till 4 months. We need to put an order in for your husband or whoever it is who's pinching them. So it's a perfect time asking for those referrals as well. Same spiel as that written one. Okay, so alert 3. Call number 3 email comes. And this is for some people a scary call to have to do. And remember what I said, if you've got 35 to 40 customers, a great qualified business, it's not so scary because it's the next box call. Please don't ever, ever, ever say, are you ready for your next box? I'll invisibly smack your fingers if you do that. So what do you say? Hi, Jenny. How you going? I know you're loving your Juice Plus like me and you rely on it every day to have get those fruit, veg and berries into you. I'm just ringing to make sure you're not going to run out before your next box arrives, and also to see if your credit card expiry date's changed. You know I can always bring it forward if you've had a few extras or someone's pinched them. So it's quite different to say you're ready for your next box. You might get some objections and go, oh, I'm not sure and all that. But hopefully by then you've got a really good relationship with them. Okay, so, now this is a huge tip for call 3, and you must do this, guys, because it's going to save you a lot of angst. The majority of times, particularly if you're like me, you do your customer care during the day, it quite often goes to message bank. So you want to put the onus on the customer to have to contact you if it needs delaying. So I say, hi Jen, how you going? Just ringing to make sure you didn't need your next box a little bit sooner, but I haven't caught you. Just letting you know it is going to be shipped in about 5 or 6 days. If you need it delayed for some reason, give me a call urgently, but I know you love your Juice Plus. If I don't hear from you, I'll just assume all is well and my office will ship it. See how I put the onus on them? They need to get back to me. I warned them. And I'm not like that. I wouldn't say that to them. Okay. So then the next call 4 comes into your inbox, and that's at 140 days. That's after that second box has been received, hopefully. So you're ringing to make sure it has. Then you're going to offer them, if they're not already complete customers, are you aware we've got another product, Juice Plus Complete? It's delicious. I rely on it totally for lots of different times and things. Would you like me to send you a sample? Oh, yes, please. So I send that and some smoothie recipes, and off it goes. And then you can either put that on your grid that you've got to follow that up, but I personally tend to, apart from the fact I write it on the customer profile what I've done, I write in my diary for about 10 days later, so they've received it, hopefully they've tried it and they might want to order. Okay, you're getting there. Okay, email alert 5 arrives. Now this is at 220 days. It's saying that their third box is due, and you do the usual customer chat, invite to events, alerts like the berry blend, buy one, get one free. That's perfect to be talking about when you're doing your customer calls. In fact, for those of you who've only got, say, 10, 15 customers, you really should be ringing them all and letting them know. I still think it works better than SMSs, but each to their own. Now, at all times, you really need to be chatting. A lot of people say, no, you just get in there and you do it and you get out. Yes, you do, but you be chatty as well. The reason being is the chattier the conversation, the more you'll be hearing their problems, their pains, and then the desires. Remember, we talk about the master asker questions, so then you can hear little things and see what you can help. And they might be talking about something, you say, are you aware that we've got our Omega blend now? And then you open the conversation because you've listened to some pains and things. Okay. So don't forget to be offering to send links or information packs to people about product or any other product that an existing customer might want to know about. Okay. Cancellations. This is so important. If the office notifies of the cancellation, most of my customers who do cancel, and I get cancellations, they actually contact the office because they've got such a good relationship with me, they're a bit embarrassed to ring me. And you probably, many of you nodding your heads, you've probably found that. It's just the way it is. So now this will kill you to have to do this. Do not email, do not text, pick up the phone and do that cancellation call, because here's what you say. Just ringing you because my office has notified me that you cancelled, and it's very unusual people to cancel, and I know you loved your Juice Plus, and sometimes because they've been inundated with orders, it's fabulous, they make a few mistakes, bless them. So I just want to make sure you didn't mean to delay it. So Jenny Jones might say, oh no, I'm really embarrassed, but it's awful, but my husband's been retrenched. So there's 3 things that you address in that cancellation call. The first thing is you come from caring. You suggest that with the existing stock they've got, they do a half dose, explaining to them the last thing I want to happen is your immune system to die and you get the first nasty that's coming along. And then you work out how much stock they've got and said, look, I'm just going to pop in my diary when you should nearly be out of your product to see how you're going then. And then I diarise to make a call then to see if I can reinstate it. I also ask their permission to stay in touch and stay on my mailing list, invite them to events, etc., and usually they say yes. If it's financial, like a redundancy or something, rave about our increased sales and how we're helping so many people. And you can say, has it ever occurred to you, have I even mentioned it to you, that you can actually have your own account just so it pays for your own? Indeed, you might want to have a few friends and family and even make a bit of pocket money or contribute to the housekeeping. So there's 3 things you've addressed. So can you understand how important that cancellation call is? That could be your next franchisee more than anything. But again, it's from customer caring. Okay, so after 280 days, it's a good idea, I think, to send regular things. I personally use the virtual office and I send mass emails, like I sent to all mine and Craig's customers about the berry blend. To be really honest, my lot just seem to be happy because they quite often don't contact me with things like that. None of them seem to want to go on social media, so I've got a bit of a funny lot there. And they're not all old. So after 280 days, you can send those things, articles of wellness interest or a newsy note. In addition, I try to do, up until 2 years ago, I do 2 newsletters a year, and I do them by snail mail, have them compose it, print it out, envelopes, stamps. It was a pain and it was getting expensive. So, but it was very good to send to prospects as well, because I just make it chatty. So now I do it by virtual office, and I do it in July and New Year. I never ever do it at Christmas because there's so much going on there. Half the time it wouldn't get read. So I'm just looking at our time. So that's pretty much more from all from me. So I've got a couple of people lined up tomorrow that I'd like to call on to give them some of their gems. That they may not do the company system at all, but it's really working for them and it's duplicatable, and there might be some things that would be fabulous to share. So first of all, I'd like to call on beautiful NMD Carla, who everyone raves about her customer care. Thanks, Carla.
Hi, thanks Hilary. Thanks for having me share tonight. Look, I loved everything that you just shared, and I think you really just proved how simple customer care actually can be. And I think it's kind of like our marketing plan or system with Juice Plus. We all have the same sort of system. It's just how we decide to use it or what we decide to plan around it or what works for us. And the same goes for customer care. We also have those same principles in place, but each team or NMD might create certain documents or little differences that they have in their own system. And that's certainly what I've done with ours. So I'm very blessed that I got to learn from Bronwyn and Tam, you know, what customer care looks like, but it was pretty much just using what was available via head office, and there's so much more that's available to us now. So really we're greedy for documents and resources when it comes to customer care. There actually is no excuse, and I think the biggest thing I can share with everyone too is that it's not that you don't have the resources, it's just that perhaps you're not willing or haven't in the past wanted to make the time to work them. And that's really as simple as that. Because I know for a fact that every NMD on here most definitely is cutthroat on customer care and would have a system in place that they are teaching. It's whether you decide to be duplicatable with it. But just some points I just wanted to make, and I'm not going to get into specifics, but just 5 tips for me. Hilary, you've done it so well tonight. You've talked about having a strategy or a system in place. If you don't have a system for customer care, how likely is it that you're actually ever going to get around to bother doing it? So for everyone, it's going to look slightly different in terms of how many hours, the times, the days, how you break it up during the week. That's fine. Fit it around what your life looks like at the moment. But there needs to be some sort of system in place, you know, whether you're following your team leaders or you're utilising what head office gives, because it makes it so simple every time you get a customer. It's just, again, a duplicatable system. You have templates, you have documents, you know exactly what you're going to do at certain points throughout it. So definitely have a strategy and system in place. Consistency with customer care. It doesn't work to do it for 2 weeks and then do nothing for 3 months. And I guarantee if you're on here tonight and that's you, have a look at your customer base and say no more. You need to be consistent with customer care. Again, whether that's once a week, which was what I did when I started, simply because I didn't really have that many customers to look after. And also I was working full time and everything like that, like many of you do on here. Now for me, I find it easier to do a little bit each day because I do have quite a big base. It becomes easier for me to maintain as I am quite on it. And I don't get bored of it if I'm trying to do one big chunk in the week. I find if I do a little every day, I stay quite inspired and excited by it, to be honest, because that's your time to touch base with customers and to give and add value, which is what we're about. But definitely just have consistency with it. Change it up. As Hilary said, I think it's really boring if all you're doing is just text, or all you're doing is just Facebook, or all you're doing is just email. You know, if you have different ways, it keeps the customer intrigued and guessing as well, which I think is really lovely. So I definitely try and work with my customers based on what they prefer. So if I've got someone that's, you know, works, for instance, you know, long hours or overseas, etc., a lot of the time they just want short, quick snaps, be that a text message or a Facebook message, that's fine. But I still think it's nice to, especially when you set them up, have a package or an intro pack and documents you get in the mail. It's something lovely for them to receive, and it's right there printed for them, so they're more likely to read it. Phone text can be great for little invites or reminders of things. Obviously, Facebook's almost like email these days. So that's another great way. And have your Facebook groups as well. Get on the phone, especially initially when you're signing them up, and the first port of call, maybe after we've been on it for a few weeks. I always find phone calls really good, but just change it up. I think that's really nice for them. And even FaceTime and Skype if they're overseas. There's no reason why you can't do face-to-face. Something that's worked for me, Hillary, you mentioned about doing your twice yearly mail. I actually do a weekly EDM, which is like a weekly e-newsletter. And for me, this is a chance to either share any events coming up. Maybe I've got a special or an incentive coming up, maybe a recipe, maybe an article on something health related. And it's just a great way for me to, I guess, stay in the face of the customers who maybe I don't get to have a regular personal contact with for whatever reason. They might like it that way, but they're just always getting added value. It doesn't just have to be about Juice Plus, but it's adding value into their health journey, and then you can sneak things that fit with it into it. So that's just another nice way to be able to reach out to your customer base each week, or maybe month, however you want to do it. And then finally, I think, just as Hillary said, just set them up strong. I find because I give them everything to begin with, most of the time when I'm following up their product arriving, I'm like, do you have any questions? They're like, not really, because everything's so straightforward and there. So if you're setting them up strong, providing them with the information, the education, the inspiration, they're generally waiting to get the product, thinking, God, I just want to get on this now after all of this. So whether that's mail or email, adding them to your groups, giving them what they need. I think that's important. All our customers come on Juice Plus for something different. So make sure sometimes that you do slightly tailor your information differently according to what they want. Like I had someone the other day who also just asked if I had anything around pregnancy. So I included information on that, starting them up. Whereas obviously I'm not going to do that to like a 30-year-old male unless, it's for their partner or something. So it's okay to be a little bit specific around that too. So I think that's sort of my top 5 tips, if I can give those, and I hope that helps you all.
Thank you. That was fabulous. I had a really cute message from Tammy, and I asked her if she'd share something special that she does for her customers because her colleagues raved about her customer care. And she said, I follow your system, you're the guru. So that was some nice little strokes for me. But Tammy, I think you were going to share something, some extra things that you do that might help everyone else.
All right. Okay.
You're open.
All right. Hello. Yeah, I do. I do follow your system, Hillary, because when I first joined the community, that's exactly the documents we were given, and I just thought that was fantastic to make sure that we kept in touch with our customers that way. So thank you so much for everything you shared tonight, and thanks, Carla. That was great having those tips as well. I just want to reiterate exactly what you guys have said, because I think it's so important to have that personal connection with your customers, friendship with them, knowing exactly what Hillary said about, their kids and what's happening in their life, so that when you are sending personal messages, and it is so nice to receive that by mail, not just email or text, or phone calls are nice these days too. Phone calls are very rare. It's all, digital messaging and stuff like that. So I do like to send recipes. I think with a lot of the food events that I do, and having customers Eastern States and overseas as well, it's nice that you can flick them some information. Here's a recipe here I thought you might like. Just make a note. Do they like to eat peanut butter? What foods do they like? And try to send recipes that that they're going to at least try, if that's something that they want to incorporate. Recipes are a big thing that I send, but just general, like Hillary was saying, chatting with them, making sure that you get that genealogy report on a Monday. For me, my customer service is on a Monday and a Wednesday. I do a lot of messages and stuff on a Monday, and emails and sending recipes and things, and on a Wednesday I might just call a few people or message the rest of them that I haven't been able to do on the Monday. I don't know if I'm adding any value here, but I really think it's important to make sure that you connect with anyone who's new and nurture them in those first 4 months at least. Just making sure that you are genuine with your messages, making sure that you show that you care, whether it's the phone call, face to face was even great. Like, let's catch up, let's go and have a coffee. There's one beautiful friend of mine who's a customer, and she's been with me for a while. She is looking at the business, but we just every couple of weeks we'll just catch up for a smoothie or a juice and just chat about stuff, kids, life, whatever. And if that's a possibility for you to do that, and you can catch up with some of your customers personally, it's just a beautiful thing to do. You don't have to have a meal or anything like that, but just personally, whether you do coffee, juice, smoothie, whatever it is, and you just connect with them that way. I don't know if that's any help.
No, that's wonderful. No, thanks, Sam. That really is good. Yeah, I've had a catch up with one of my customers whose husband died of brain cancer, and we had a really lovely chat and a cuddle and all that sort of thing. So there's always, you do really make some friends. Now, my beautiful Tanya Nichievsky was supposed to be on, but she had a family thing she had to get her daughter to. Now, I call her Miss Pink and Pretty. She has a beautiful Facebook group for her customers, and added value, it's huge. Now, I can't think, I was really hoping someone could talk about something like that. I don't want to put her on the spot, but Nicole Stewart, you have a lovely customer group, don't you? Is there anything you'd like to add that you do to help your customers? I was going to unmute you. There you go. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm not dressed for the occasion. I suppose I post consistently, and I try to encourage the customers to post as well. So, you know, I might post the events, anything relevant, but the main thing is we post, not overloading it, just posting daily. I also have a file section. So there's, when I have a new customer, I will add them to the Facebook. I will ask them first and then add them to the Facebook group if they've got Facebook, which most of my customers do. And then I will sort of introduce them, welcome them, so then other people who are on that page see that new people are joining. And then I sort of alert them to the fact that in the file section there's Nat's ebook and the smoothie recipe book with the complete, and lots of other things. There's also those house plants and all of that. Yeah, so that's really what we do, and it make it kind of a bit exclusive. I've just got a new customer on the berry blend, so I've added her, and I think she sort of sees that, oh, okay, I didn't know about this, and now that I'm a Juice Plus customer, I get access to all of this information. So it does make customer care a bit more streamlined, and it just gets people interacting as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Tamara, we haven't really got any time left, but I just wonder if there's anyone who's got a burning thing they'd like to share that's added value that we could all benefit from. If anyone has, can they just raise their hand?
While we're waiting, Hills, I'll just share a couple of things that everybody can use. So the first thing is, a lot of people on here have access to large Facebook groups with their group programs. So whether it be is it the Juicy Life program? Is that the one, Carla? There's people that can access to that program. There's Complete Life Transformation. And if there are any other programs, so don't forget, guys, that this is kind of a gift with purchase that you can give to your customers. So, you know, reach up to your upline NMDs who run these programs and figure out, if you're not utilizing these programs, how you can utilize them to care for your customers. Don't forget to, we now have our monthly customer care VIP nights. So for those people in Perth, if you're not using this, like, this is absolute gold. We've got Carla next Wednesday night doing an amazing presentation. Every single one of your customers should have got a personal invitation as an exclusive VIP night just for customers. So don't forget, we've got those on a monthly basis too. And just to plug, on the new Transformation Hub Facebook group, periodically at this point, I've got the next 3 months booked. We have healthcare professionals presenting on a Facebook Live in those Transformation Hubs. So you can use those for your customers as well. So there's so many things in so many different ways that you can be servicing your customers. Hilary, do you want me to just quickly show people the customer portal? Is anyone, can you put your hand up, guys, if you're not familiar with the customer portal? Yeah, anyone else? There's at least half a dozen. Anyone else not familiar with the customer portal? Okay, brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to quickly do a share screen. Is that okay, Hills? I don't want to...
Of course. course.
take over.
And
But
value.
let's just have a quick look. Share screen. Oh, look, she just came in. I thought it was
Or fail.
the door failed. Okay, can you guys see that, the sign-in sheet? Hands up if you can see the sign-in sheet. Okay, so this up here, customers.juiceplus.com, this is every single one of your customers on their very first email that they get from the company saying congratulations for taking Juice Plus, we'll get a link to this particular website. And I would encourage you all to encourage your clients to sign up to this customer portal. So I'm just going to show you guys mine. So I've just signed up under my own email. So love how we do this business with children. So I'm just going to sign into so I'm also my own preferred customer. And you'll see that if they register for their username and their password, they'll be able to get into the customer portal there. And what it will actually show them, mine's on Go Slow, but what it will actually show them is when their next orders are due. So they can see their orders. They can then change their credit card details. They can then change when their next product delivery is. They can bring it forward. They can move it back. And they can actually also add products to their customer order as well. So here's a really nice way of empowering your customers to add products. So you can see there's my account right there. Look, my first premium order was on the 14th of February 1999. So I reckon I must be the oldest customer ever. And you can see where they can change their account settings there, and you can see where they can contact the company as well. So, I would strongly be encouraging all of you to encourage your customers to access the customer portal, because it really gives them a lot more autonomy and they'll feel a lot more empowered about looking after their own product orders. Back to you, Hills.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty much, I've got my team call 3 minutes ago. So I think thanks for listening, everyone. It's lovely to see a few people said they're going to start the good old snake